boys and girls. I am super excited to be able to help you with this challenge today. Now, you know today's challenge is for you to be able to spell your name using the American Sign Language alphabet. And I want to help you with that. Sometimes looking at a poster or a paper with the letters, it can be a little confusing. So I want to try to help you. I also want to help you with a few rules that maybe you don't know about when it comes to working with deaf people and signing to them. So to begin with, whenever we make a sign or we spell letters, we want to make sure our hands are nice and stiff and straight. And that's super important because if you can imagine when you're talking with somebody, when they don't open their mouth and they're kind of mumbles, you can't understand them. Well, it's the same thing when you talk to a deaf person and you're signing or you're spelling. If your hands are not straight and stiff and you let them get lazy and fall over, it's like mumbling, and it's frustrating for a deaf person to try to understand what you're saying. So the most important thing when you're communicating with the deaf is for the deaf person to be able to understand you. And so the best way to do that is to keep your fingers stiff and straight. The other thing is when we sign our letters, sometimes people start signing over here and they get over here. So we want to be able to sign your letters in a box. Now you choose where you want your box. Maybe you're a lefty, but I'm a righty and I keep my box right by my face because it's very important for the deaf to be able to see your lips and your face. They read body language, they read lips sometimes. So keep your box, your imaginary box, near your face and make sure your letters are stiff and clear. Now some of the letters I have some tips to help you remember them a little bit better. Some of them are pretty obvious, so you may not need a tip. So let's start with the letter A. Now notice I have my fingers and my hand in my imaginary box here. A looks like an apple and the little stem is sticking out right here. So A for apple, if that helps you remember it. B, so you take your hands, now remember my fingers are standing up straight and tall. Don't let them fall over because it might look like a different letter. Nice, stiff, straight hand, and then tuck your thumb in. That's the letter B. Good. C is very obvious. It looks just like the letter C. So hopefully you can do the letter C without too much trouble. Now D can give a lot of people trouble. So let's start with putting our hands up just like the letter B. But this time we're going to leave our pointer finger standing up and we're going to bring our three fingers down to meet up with our thumb. Make sure that you keep your other finger nice and straight and tall. Now, if this helps you remember that a D looks like a duck waddling down the road, but you don't want to waddle it down the road when you're actually spelling. But D for duck, and it might help you remember, keep your finger nice and stiff and straight and tall, and then D for duck, okay? D. Now, E looks like we take our fingers again, and we bring our thumb in just like the letter B, but this time we're going to bring our fingertips down to the top of our thumb. Good. Now I've seen it like this too, and the deaf have probably seen it like that, but this is how you're supposed to make the letter E. Good. Now F is like everything's fine, and if you think about it, it looks like feathers on my little bird here. F for feathers, okay? And that's also a way to remember. This is F, and this is D because D is like the duck that waddles down the road. And F is like a little bird with feathers on it, okay? Good. Now G is very simple. You take your pointer finger and your thumb and you relax them and bring them and face them to the side. Good. And H is just like the G, only you're going to just bring two fingers out and then point them to the side. Very good. I is just one pinky standing up straight and tall. Good. Very good. Just your pinky. Now make sure he stands up straight and tall. Don't let him get lazy on you. Nice and straight and tall. Now, my letter I wants to go fishing, and it needs a fishing hook on the end of the line. So let's give him a little fishing hook. Very good. That's the letter J, by the way. So you use the I finger because he's going fishing, and he's going to get the fishing hook, and you just draw the letter J with your pinky. Sometimes it helps you remember. All right, so K can be a little complicated. Let's start with the letter. This is actually letter V, or the number 2. And then you take your thumb and put it between the two fingers. Make sure you're straight and tall here. Don't let them get lazy on you. Good. Now, once you have that done, relax your hand. That's the letter K. And that stands for king. And I'll explain why in a minute. So K for king. Again, two fingers, put your thumb between them, and then relax your hand, all inside that box, okay? And then I'll explain in a minute, but K is for king. Good. L, very simple, looks like an L, right? Now, M is a little complicated sometimes for some people. This is technically M and this is N, but if you notice, it's very hard to tell the difference between my M and N because I don't have long, skinny fingers. So what I do, and I've seen other deaf people even do, is for M, they stick their fingers more straight out so that it's very clear this is an M and this is an N. For me, I know I'm being very clear to a deaf person and they can understand me a lot better than if I just did this, because really it's hard to tell the difference when you have short fingers like mine. Good. All right, so we have M and we have N. Now O. Now that looks like an O, so we don't really need to explain, right? Now for P, we're going to say that P stands for prince. Now the prince always bows to the king, right? So let's start out with the king and we'll have the prince bowing to the king. All right, so that sometimes helps you remember how to make the letter P and the difference between a K and a P. Sometimes that gets very confusing. Remember, the king is always standing up because he doesn't bow to anyone, but the prince bows to the king. Very good. So the P is made just like a K, but you have to bow it, okay? So it's K for king, P for prince. And guess what? The queen even has to bow to the king. So to make a Q, you take your G hand and you bow it. And now the queen is bowing to the king, okay? So it's just like a G, but you're going to bow it down because the queen bows to the king too. Very good. All right, so we are on R, like a little bunny rabbit. Now don't hop it around, but if it helps you remember, R for bunny rabbit ears, okay? Rabbit ears, R. S looks just like a fist. But don't ever punch anybody. So if you turn it around, it'll help you remember you can only punch your own nose, okay? So S is just like a fist, but facing you, not somebody else, all right? Good. So T looks like a little turtle hiding in my fist. So I start with my fist, but now I'm going to slip my finger, my pointer finger, over top of my thumb. And now I have a turtle. So again, this is S. Remember, we're not going to punch anybody, so we have to show this way. If you do it this way, the deaf will not know that that's an S, okay? So you have to make sure you turn it around. S and then T. You just simply tuck your thumb under your pointer finger. That's T. Very good. You put your two fingers, stand them together, nice and straight and tall, up in your box. U for united, they're standing together. Good. V is when you separate them and you have the letter V. It's like a peace sign, okay? And W, that looks just like a W, so hopefully you won't struggle with that letter. And then X is a little confusing too. So you start out with a fist, and then you bring up your pointer finger and make it into like a little hook. This is what it looks like from the side. Good. So X is just like that. Good job. Very good. You all are doing fantastic. I am super excited about this. So this is the letter Y. And if you think about it, it looks just like a letter Y, right? And now Z, you use your pointer finger and just draw the letter Z. Remember I tried to help you remember that the I goes fishing for the letter J, the little hook, because you use your pinky for J and you use your pointer finger for Z. So hopefully that'll help you remember. You don't get them confused. All right, let's do this one more time together. All right, let's go. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z. Very good. Now the one thing when you're spelling your name that you'll need to remember, if you have a letter that repeats in your name, for example, my name is Sherry, so my name is S, H, E, R, R, I. So I just slide that R over just a little bit and then I get back in my box. so that you know how to do a double letter, all right? The other important thing to remember is if you're trying to tell someone what your name is, you're not going to say, hello, I'm Sherri, right? You're going to say, hello, my name is Sherry, or whatever your name is. So when you're saying things to a deaf person, if they don't ask how to spell your name and they want to know your name, you want to tell them my name, and this is a sign for my name, and then you say Sherry. You don't say my name, Sherri. Okay? So remember, when you say your name to a deaf person, you're actually going to say your name as you're spelling your name. And then sometimes the deaf will give you a sign name. So my sign name is an S down the side of my face. So the deaf know me as Sherry. They don't know me as Sherry. But I first had to spell my name to them for them to give me that sign name. So I'd like to challenge all of you, if you know a deaf person and they haven't given you a sign name yet, you could introduce yourself and say, hello, my name, and then I would say Sherry, and then I would ask them your name, and then they would spell their name back, and then I would say sign name what, and then they would give me their sign name, and then I would ask them, or I would tell them, I need a sign name. And then they would give me a sign name. So my challenge to you is to start communicating with the deaf. Most deaf can communicate with you, even if you don't know sign language, if you can just spell to them. And they'll give you the signs. And you'll build your vocabulary. And who knows, the Lord might use you someday to work with the deaf and be an interpreter. Have a great day, boys and girls. I'm super excited. I can't wait to see some of your videos. God bless.